Hello guys and welcome to my video on describing how to use Microsoft Word and Excel. Now before we begin, we need to search up the Word application and open it first. So what you have to do is if you have a Windows key, click that and type in Word, or you can locate your search bar at the bottom of your monitor and there should be a search bar, so click it and type in Word to have an access to the Word application. Now you guys should be able to see the screen on the right here once you open up the page. Now what I want you guys to do is create a blank document. So a blank document, you basically start from scratch. And once you click it, yeah, this screen would show up. Just click create and it would create a new blank document. Here it should be like above should be like informations about that template depending on what you choose. But you guys chose the blank document anyway, so it shouldn't have any specials to it. So click create. Now this screen should pop up. Now I'm going to be talking about the toolbar, which is located on the top here. Now there should be about like 10 buttons depending on which version of Microsoft Word you have. So first button, the most far left, should all be the same. It's called File. You can see on the picture on the left here. Now, once you click it, you can see that you can create a new one. You can open a Microsoft Word, or there should be information, save as Adobe PDF. Now, this is used to save or create a new one. This is just the main page of your Microsoft Word application. So if you want to scrap this one and just create a new one, you can do this by clicking the file, or if you want to save, you can enter it and click save as, and that would save your Microsoft Word to your computer. Now talking about the insert page here, if you click insert, you guys should be able to see all the things that you can insert it into your Word document. So the first thing is table here that I drew. You can see that I created my table as myself, and it's a 3x3 table. So you can control how many rows, like here, and columns you have on the table by clicking on the down arrow, and there should be like a little grid that you can drag across your cursor and then click whichever rows and columns that you want to have in the table. Now you can also add pictures. So right here is a picture of a city that I added. And this is a Microsoft presentation that I made on. That's the application that I used to make this slide. But we're going to be talking about that next week. And just know that you can create pictures, you can insert pictures in Microsoft Word as well. And now you can also include shapes like triangles, circles, and trapezoids. Now you can also enter charts, 3D models, icons, and smart art, and way more, depending on the version you have. But these are just basic things that you can add: table, pictures, and shapes. Those are the things that you'll mainly use in a document. Now, okay, the design page. To the right of insert should be a design tab. If there's a draw tab, there should be in the middle, like insert tab, should be two spaces to the left of design. But you can see the design page here. Once you click it, you can see the different designs of the Word document. So right here, this is the version that we have. You can click this version, the second one, or the third one, or the fourth one, or the fifth one. And there are many multiple designs that you can choose. It's basically like a theme for the Word document. So if you want to have like a specific theme to it, you want to like maybe make the title bigger or make the title smaller or make it like a story, then you might choose different designs. These are all up to you, up to your preference. So click whichever you like the most. And that will be your design for the entire Word document. Now, talking about the layout page, you can see on the top here that I clicked the layout button. And you can see that margins, orientation, size, columns, left, right, before, and after. So you might be asking, what does that really mean? Now, layout, I don't really use that often either, except for changing the margins maybe. But you can, of course, change the margins, and you can also change the orientation if you want it a landscape, not a portrait. Landscape is the one sideways, and portrait is the one vertical. And you can also control the size of the paper if you want. And you can also control where the page breaks. And you can control how much like squished up the words are and how much wide the words are. So that's what's the layout page controls basically. Now let's get into the actual writing in Word document, which is the important part. Now create a new one like we just did. We can just skip that. And I want you guys to click on the blank space anywhere on the document. It's going to be just the first, like the top left corner. It should start from there. There should be a cursor blinking. So once you see the cursor blinking, I want you guys to type anything. Right here on the right, I just typed in an example, tiny house living. So that's just an example that I typed, the phrase. Now, what you can do with the text that you wrote. You can highlight it. So I want you guys to place the cursor behind the T and then drag it across all the way. If you're using a laptop, you guys should have this cursor pad and you can click and then drag it across too if you have a laptop. Now, this highlighted part, you can edit it however you like, but after you highlight it. So, highlighting a text is really important. Just remember that. Now, I want you guys to right click it. So, right click the highlighted text, and you can do whatever you want to your writing. So, right here, I click the jumbo font style for my tiny house living phrase. And you can also control the font size, and you can't see it from the picture here, but well, you can see it above here that you can edit it also from the top. Just know that if you go to the home button, you don't have to right click. You can edit it from the things that are shown above. So that's another neat trick. So you don't always have to right click, but this is another way to do it. So you can edit the font size again, the font style. You can change the color of the highlight. You can change the color of your font. You can italicize it, bold it, underline it. You can do anything with your text. So this is just some fun, neat like functions that you can do with the Word document. Now, let's say you wrote a paper. So you finished doing your work, you finished typing, and you want to save it. Like I said before, click the file button. Right here, let's go back actually. A couple pages. All right, click this file button, not the layout, but this file on the top left corner. Now this screen should pop up, and you can see Save As right here, highlighted in green. So click that, and then there should be like a File Explorer page open up. Now what I want you guys to do is like rename however you like. It doesn't have to be Tiny House Living, which it automatically sets as. You can change it to your name or Tiny House Living by your name. And once you're done renaming it, click Save. Now this will save it directly to your PC or your computer. After going through all this, why is Microsoft Word helpful at all? Well, it helps us do write ups, create documents, resumes, and contracts, and way more. So it's really important to use Microsoft Word because it helps us do multiple tasks. What I use Microsoft Word the most is writing my English papers. For example, my English class requires me to write essays, and I write using Microsoft Word. So that's really helpful. Now, before we move on to the Excel, I would like to show you a quick rundown. So, all right, let me just enter my Microsoft Word real quick. Word document here. Like I said in my web browsing video, you see how I typed in this Microsoft 365 and search data. Now that's a really good usage of web browsing. So if you haven't watched that already, check out my web browsing video and it will explain a lot of things. So here, right here, this is my document. All right. So let's say again, tiny house living. I taught you guys how to type too, so make sure to refer back to that video if you forgot how to locate your fingers on. But okay, tiny house living. Put your cursor here, click and drag all the way here, right here. Now you can either use this function or you can also right click. It does the same thing, but I'm showing you guys another way, which is like doing here. Highlight it and then change it. Say I wanted to change it to this font. All right, it looks a bit small, so let me increase it. Say 28. All right, that looks good. Now I want to bold it and italicize it. All right, that sounds good. What I can also do is let me add a picture. Let's say insert. Remember the button insert button? All right, now I can insert a picture. Now from this device. All right. Now I actually included this picture. Okay, let me load. All right, this is an example of me doing a science experiment. Actually, it was yesterday, and it was quite fun. And by the way, I'm going to teach you guys more about science next year, so stay tuned for that. All right, so this is just an example of, I think I mixed, yeah, the mole of lithium carbonate and the mole of sodium carbonate, yeah, to acetic acid just to create a reaction like this, and it was really fun. Now, what I can do with this picture here is that I can edit it through a Microsoft Word account. So if you click on it, I can shorten it, make it smaller, and I can also make it way bigger. Now I'll explain this more on Microsoft presentation because presentation is all about pictures. But you can always increase the size and you can always decrease this by click and drag. Of course, click and drag is really important. So click and drag to make it bigger, click and drag to make it smaller. There we go. Now this is the perfect size. Now let me add some context. All right, let me change the font size back to 12. You don't have to highlight anything from here because you don't have anything that's like already put on the board yet. So I can just shorten the size to 12, preset it, and then start typing. I would preset it, unbold it, unitalicize it. Now this is already preset. Now I can type the caption, which should look like this. Example of me doing a science experiment. Alright. Now I can add a caption right here. And I can, let's say I'm finished with this. Let's say I'm just finished editing. I'm done with my stuff. Now I can click File, Save As right here, and then Save As, and you can save it into your document right here. So that's what you can do with your document, and it should save into your File Explorer. So there should be this icon on the bottom of your laptop, I mean your computer, whichever you have, and you guys should see your saved document on your recent page under your recent. That's how you would revisit your page. Now, remember in class that I taught you about copying and pasting. Now, again, recap. Like I told you guys in class, I want you guys to highlight whichever you would like to copy and paste and click Control and C at the same time on your keyboard. Control and C. Now, unhighlight it by clicking out of the highlight, and I want you guys to click Enter and click Control V at the same time. So that copied and pasted the caption. So again, let me show you. Let me actually write it down. All right. Let's make it quite big. Control plus C equals copy. Control plus V equals paste. All right. So once you got this, you just copy this whole thing. If I copy 2 lines, it pastes two lines, which is really cool. All right, now let's say I accidentally deleted everything. Oh, that was an accident. What should I do? Then this is when the undo button comes in. You can either undo by clicking the button here, right here. You can undo like that, or there's also a shortcut, which I'm going to tell you guys right now. Click Control and Z at the same time. That is the undo function on your keyboard. So click Control Z, and here you can see it. Everything else comes back. Let me add that to my dictionary. Control Z equals undo. And of course, there we go. See that I can undo? Well, I just typed undo. So let's say I undo the thing that I typed. So I just typed in Control plus Z equals undo. Now I'm gonna undo that. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Keep pressing Control Z and see what happens. It deleted it. So it shows all the progress that I made and bring it back a step. So let's see. Forward it. All right. There you go. Now it's back. That's the basic shortcuts. And now let me teach you guys about Excel. All right, just two in one in this video. So, understanding Excel. First, use the same method as you did for Microsoft Word to access Microsoft Excel. Type it in the search bar. Again, I'll show you right here. Right here, type in Excel. Right here, it shows up. Or you can just click Windows key and this pops up. Excel right here shows up. All right, let's get into it. Now the next step is again create a new workspace. In Microsoft Excel, they call each tab like worksheets or spreadsheets. So when you hear people using the word worksheet or spreadsheet, you can understand that they are like creating a new Excel page. So a new Excel page is called a spreadsheet or worksheet. So I want you guys to create a blank spreadsheet right here. Click new and it creates a blank one. All right, now actually getting into entering and formatting the data. So Microsoft Excel is mainly used for statistics and for data collecting and samplings and populate. It's like sampling distributions, for example, is what you will use. But in a more simpler term, I guess you can use it for graphing, graphing in either pie chart or bar graph. So let's say I'm going to show you guys right now. Okay, first of all, create this, of course, a spreadsheet, and then click on a cell. So double tap on it, double click it, and you should see a blinking cursor on it. So that's when you can start typing. So you can either type letters or word. I mean, letters or numbers. So right here, I typed in date. So date right here, which I typed it on the top left here, is what I will put on the entire column. So entire column is going to be something about the date. It's basically categorizing into two things. First column is talking about date, the second column is talking about something else. That way you can represent that data into a graph, which I'll show you later. So type in date, and you can type anything, word or number again. Now click enter. Enter will basically move on to the next cell of the Excel. All right, right here, I typed in the dates, which include these. And these are just random dates. And depending on the dates, let's say you want to kind of observe and record the data of the plant size changes across the year. So for January 31st, the plant was 2 centimeters tall, and it gets and on February 16th, it gets into 4 centimeters tall, and it continues on. Now, I created the date here, and you can also insert the next one by putting size in centimeters on the top column, and then the centimeters that follows the date. So it's basically creating a graph, a data point. Now, creating tables. Now, this is where you'll actually start creating graphs or tables. Now, highlight everything. So once again, I want you guys to click and drag across. This will highlight the things that you have added. Highlight everything that you've written and click Format as Table. So if you guys can click the Home button, and there should be all the way on the right here, there should be Format as Table. Or if you don't see this button, I want you guys to click the Format button and click Format as Table. I will show you guys all this later in just like a minute. Now, if you click Format as Table, if you click the down arrow here, it shows all the different all the different like options for your tables. So this is like a neat table that you guys can see and really represent into a spreadsheet. So this is all what Microsoft Excel is about, creating tables and graphs out of the data points that you collected out of the population. And create a table, just select any of these depending on which color you like and which design you like the most. And now after you're done creating a table, you guys can save as, which I talked about earlier. This should be easy for you because I talked about this again. Click File, Save As, and then rename it, Save. And then of course you can access it back through File Explorer, which is on like an essential app, which is at the bottom of your toolbar. It should be there for many laptops. All right, why is Microsoft Excel helpful? As I mentioned before, it enables users to format, organize, and calculate data into a spreadsheet. So it's really for your future self, you can talk about that. Because if you want to be a statistician, or if you want to be like any other like calculation oriented like job, you can always use Microsoft Excel to really help you calculate stuff on the Excel and represent it into a graph. Now, that sounded confusing, right? All right, let me show you an example then. Let's see. Here's a new Excel. Right. All right. As I said before, let me create a date and a size, as I said before. Size, centimeters. Insert centimeters. Right, here we go. Click enter. It moves on to the next one. Say on September 3rd, 2023. Say September like 12, 2020. I'm just making this up, so you don't have to pay much attention about what I'm doing right now. I'm just creating like different data points. September 16th, 2023. This is a record of my plants. And 16, I mean, October 27th, 2023. And then size, let's say 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 10 centimeters. Alright, I'll say I want to create it. I like drag, and I want to create, let's say, a table. Alright, what you can actually do here is that data right here. Now, I want you guys to click data again, of course. And then you can either use to, okay, page layout, draw, insert a table, or you can also insert a graph, which I'll show you guys later. I'm trying to find the exact same version format as table, but some of these versions, this version I'm using right now is not the actual Excel, it's the 365 version, which is can be pretty different. So you guys should be able to click format as table option. It should be available for you guys. Not sure if this is available for me, but it should be under data. Not sure why it isn't here, but what I can actually do here is show you guys how to insert a graph. Let's say a bar graph. Now, here created a bar graph depending on, let's see, no, that's not it. All right, I don't know why it showed that. yeah, add that back again. There you go. Now inserts, let's say a scatter plot. This will be interesting. For some reason, let me just try to remake this. Not sure why the grid is not showing, but you can draw and insert either a bar graph or a line graph, a pie chart, a cluster bar graph, which is the sideways one, and an area graph. I don't think you use that often. You can use to draw a scatter plot and way more graphs that are available here. If you see a bar, then you can tell that I created this data point, this graph, which is a way to like use data presentation. So I presented my data by highlighting, clicking insert, and clicking one of these like chart options. So you can create any charts that you want. If you A pie chart is a fun chart that I can actually show you right now. Pie chart should be shaped in a circle like here. You can see. Pie chart shows it in a circle, and a bar graph shows it each line. So bar graph is when you have a frequency, and once you have multiple things happening, and once you gather data about that, then you can tell how much what has the higher probability, what has the most occurrences, which has the most frequencies. You can all determine that. So all the statisticians use this, and you can also be like a mini statistician, I guess you can call it. And you can graph your own data and you can create your own data. And this is just fun to play around. I don't think you'll use this that often, as much as you would use Word, because I use Word all the time. I don't use Excel that much, so I don't really know a lot about it. But you can create, I know that you can create um, charts and tables using this, so it's really helpful to know. Now going back, of course, and thank you for watching. Now, if you do have any questions, you can always contact me, or you can always ask in class, which we have every Friday. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And next week, we're going to be talking about Microsoft presentation. So really stay tuned for that because it's really fun. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.